Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Energy Speaks Back, powered by B2B Energy. My name is Paul Webb, the founder of B2B Energy, and I'm also your host. Each week, I bring to you energy experts from around the world. This is episode 177. Our purpose, as always, is to provide a good understanding of energy management knowledge from around the world, which is available today for us to deliver savings that impact on our planet. Welcome, energy enthusiasts, to another enlightening episode of Energy Speaks Back. And in this episode, I interview an associate professor of Robert Gordon University, specialising in energy, and with his PhD expertise in electrocatalytic reactions and green hydrogen batteries. A conversation drives into the future of batteries in our industry. So without any further ado, let's recharge with our discussions with Dr. Carlos Fernández. Good evening, Carlos. How are you today?
Good evening, Paul. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very well, thank you.
Brilliant. And obviously we've been flapping around because this is the first interview I've done for about a month now. So thank you for, and the first interview I've done online. So
Yes.
Interesting story behind us. But yes, the first one. And you got a fantastic accent. Where's the accent from?
So I'm originally from Spain, but I have been living here in the UK for 22 years.
Yes. And you're not just living in the UK, you're living in Scotland, yeah?
That's correct. I live in Scotland. I work at Robert Gordon University. This is Aberdeen. Beautiful location, beautiful place. Very happy.
And normally, tongue in cheek, I would say that's a very different Scottish accent, but obviously you're from Spain.
Oh,
when
yes.
we first spoke, you started talking and I'm thinking, you come from Aberdeen University. And I'm thinking, I couldn't put the two together, but it's amazing that you've taken those steps from Spain to the UK.
Yeah.
So I've learned a little bit about you sort of on our previous call, but for the benefit of our audience, it'd be really good to understand that journey that you've taken and understand your background and your origin story. Could you share that with our audience today?
Yes. So my passion is are batteries. I love batteries. I think they are beautiful. The way they are made, the way they work, the chemistry behind. There are a lot of things that we need to understand more. Mm-hmm. But they are fantastic devices with a lot of potential, a lot of future. And I'm very interested also in sustainable materials. So how to recycle the batteries, mm-hmm. how to recover different metals from the batteries. And I'm very interested in that. Yes.
Yeah.
Very passionate.
It's funny, when I think of batteries in my childhood, I remember the amount of toys I used to have when I was younger. And they used to be affected if you left the batteries in there for a long time. They started to leak everywhere. But batteries have been in our society for many years. Do you know how old they go back? When was they first invented?
Yes, so batteries are coming. You're absolutely right. They have been with us for a long, long time. In particular, so there have been different scientists who have introduced the concept of the battery. So the first one, Alessandro Volta. So also Michael Faraday. So different colleagues or scientists, extremely well-renowned scientists, that introduced the concept of a battery, particular metal to store energy and being able to release that particular energy. So it has been for a long time.
Yeah. And you do things with your children regarding them, don't you? You take them apart and things.
Yes. So I have, so as one of my passions, as I mentioned, is the environment and looking after the environment. And one of the things over the last few years, so the use of electronic vapes. They are widely used in the UK and in the world. And when you walk around different areas, you will see many of them throwing up in the streets. And obviously those, some of them can be dangerous because of some of the chemicals can be leaked into the environment. And when I have my free time, either Saturday or Sunday or some evenings, I just look for them and I take them home and try to recycle them.
Yeah.
Also, they have some plastic in it, and this is also bad for the environment to be leaked into the soil, etc. So I try to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in everything actually that it's thrown in the bin that shouldn't be disposed of in any of the bins. But unfortunately, this is what is happening all the time. You walk around the streets and you see a television throwing out or a microwave, and some of them they have some fantastic metals or some fantastic devices inside, or a supercapacitor or a capacitor, etc.
Yeah.
And for me, I just take them and trying to recycle. Yes.
So going back to your origin story, you left school. You then, what did you do? Did you go to college and university straight away, or was you employed?
So yes, so a very interesting story for me. Over the years, I developed more and more passion about my subject area. I've been a normal teenager, finishing A levels, didn't know what to do. I took mathematics, chemistry, physics, and biology. Didn't know what to do. I started with chemistry, and once I was in a degree, I started to develop a passion for chemistry, and I love chemistry, different areas on chemistry, in particular physical chemistry, organic chemistry. I always been passionate about organic chemistry as well as physical chemistry and physics. And later on, I did my degree back in Spain, and my master's degrees in chemistry and physical chemistry in Almeria. This is the south of Spain.
Yeah, I know it very well. I know it very well.
A beautiful place.
Beautiful, stunning place, yeah.
The university, we had the university and the road and then the sea.
Yeah.
So obviously it was a lovely place to go for a walk and think about the projects or the subject we were studying at that time. When I studied, things were very different. So we have a first year and second year with different subjects related to chemistry. So for example, we have mathematics, physics, and I enjoyed the subject. I think they are beautiful subjects, geology, crystallography, etc. Many beautiful subjects. And after my master's degree, I was working in Spain for a few years, and then I decided I wanted to develop my passion further. So I embarked upon a PhD position in the University of Hull, where I did enjoy a lot. It was a lovely experience with a lot of beautiful colleagues and people. At that time, I did enjoy my PhD a lot, but at that time, my English has been improving over the years. I never been very good at languages, I must say. But I did enjoy a lot. It was a beautiful experience and beautiful memories.
With your PhD, what was your dissertation in? What did you write about?
We were looking at electrocatalytic reactions, so electrochemistry in particular. I did enjoy. It was a beautiful PhD with a beautiful experience, and that was my foundation into moving slowly into energy.
Right.
That was my main foundation to go into energy. I think energy is one of the most beautiful areas that everyone can go into. And with my background into physics and chemistry, I obviously I enjoy that, and I move into that area.
Yeah. So that brings you to Hull.
That's correct.
How did you go from Hull to Aberdeen? What was that
S-
transition?
So from there, I was working later on in Manchester for 3
All
years
right. Okay. So you've gone across the country
across
to
the country
Manchester.
first,
Right.
and then after that into Aberdeen. So yes.
Right. Okay. What was you doing in Manchester?
So in Manchester, I was working and developing electrochemical sensors using
Right.
electrochemistry.
Right.
Another beautiful experience again with different colleagues, beautiful memories with many friends. Yes.
Well, was it energy related, those sensors or not?
No, in particular,
Right.
and they were related to aspects of electrochemistry that later on they have helped me a lot to understand more system
Yeah.
with batteries.
Yeah.
So batteries now they are moving into a different transition. So ideally, what we see at the moment, a battery, for example, what we call a solid battery, the idea is to transform that into a material or screen printed material, so to minimize space and
Yeah.
things like that. Yes.
Yeah. And now you're in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
What's your prime focus there? What's your work?
So I work in here in the School of Pharmacy, Applied Science and Public Health. So I work on mainly on energy and in particular in batteries. Work on also, as I mentioned earlier on, in sustainable materials. So looking at recovering metals from batteries. So that is my main areas.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Looking also,
no, that's okay.
at a particular battery management systems. So how a battery is connected and with a state of charge or discharge, how the battery is charged, discharged. So we are looking at those areas. Yes.
And it's always when we talk about batteries, there's always the talk around sustainability and
Yeah.
the life cycle of a battery and how can we, justify. It's like a car nowadays, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
15 years and possibly you're going to have to change the battery out and replace that with another battery. And what do you do with your lot? Is this part of the studies, what's going on in these universities now? Because, there's a need for that, isn't there?
Yes, it is absolutely. So with the beautiful transition into net zero, we're moving into creating more and more green compounds and chemicals and moving into the greener type of energy. So there are at the moment many types of energies which are beautiful and it's lovely to try to understand all of them.
Yeah.
There is a fantastic work done, obviously, in the UK at different universities and different companies.
Yeah.
So moving towards net zero, so it's a fantastic opportunities. For us, we're trying to put our small stones into that journey, try to pave that way into that journey. The most beautiful thing is to see the transition and to see that how things are changing. And one of the things we are trying to do, as I mentioned, is just understand a little bit better what is happening between a battery and a battery management system, how they are connected, how they are changed, how they communicate to each other, to try to increase the recycling systems and increase the life of the battery. So one of the things that we try to understand better is a battery is formed by different, what we call a battery pack is formed by different units, or unit of cells, and each of the cells communicates in a particular way. So when usually when you open a particular battery or battery packs, you will see some of the cells, they are completely charged, and some of them they are completely discharged. So we are trying to understand the process. We are trying to homogenize or standardize all the batteries at the same time. And the idea of doing that will help increasing the life of a battery pack.
Yeah. So I always see myself in an industry that's on the cold face. It's funny I've used the word cold face here because it's obviously utility and energy related. So we're at the forefront of energy. When we're talking about problems and challenges at this level, I can always guarantee people like yourself that are sitting back in those rooms in the universities, you already know about the problems because we know about them. So even though there's not a direct link between here and A and B, there is a link, isn't there? Because you're hearing what's happening, we're seeing what's happening, and there is this indirectly. There's a communications, and you're hearing things, we're hearing things. But if we've got the speaker of the word sustainability, life cycle, you can always guarantee that has been addressed back at the ranch, say, with you guys. And I've always had the confidence that is happening throughout technologies. You know, whatever technology we've had, even from solar to building management systems. You know, one of the biggest issue we've always had is the cost. The cost
That's
is
correct.
always high. Especially when we're launching new technologies, they're going to be high because why? Because we're paying for all that research and development costs that have gone in at day one, which is coming really back to the roots again, isn't it?
That's correct.
Had you, so knowing that approach, it sounds really good. How do you really understand what's happening here?
This is a very interesting question, Paul. And so one of the things that I mentioned earlier on was that if you walk around, for example, in any of the rubbish bins, you will find sometimes a TV, a microwave, a computer, just throw it in the bin. And one of the reasons is if you try to solve the issue, it will cost you more than you are actually paying.
Yeah.
So the recycling is difficult, okay? Because you need to have a profit. So let's say if I want to recycle that TV, obtaining what we call at the moment, or what is called the critical raw materials, so materials that they are very important for society, energy, defense, etc. The price that for me to recycle that, for me to obtain those metals, for me to put them back into the chain, it will cost me more than just buy something off the shelf.
So it doesn't become commercial viable, does it?
That's correct. And that is a huge problem.
Yeah, massive.
That is a huge problem.
Yeah.
But not just with technology, but with everything. So we are producing more and more waste all the time. So just to give you an example, for me, sustainable is a key option, and I praise with that. And just to give you an example, the other day, one of my shirts was bigger than, because I bought it 3 or 4 years ago, I lose some weight. So I said, okay, let me take the shirt to a shop and do some work on it. I paid £25 for the work on that shirt.
And you could have bought another, and you could have brought another shirt.
That's correct.
For £5, maybe.
That's correct. So my point is, I do understand why colleagues, society throw things.
Yeah.
Because the money that it costs us to repair them is very high.
Mm.
But we need to try, I don't know what the solution is, we need to try to be more conscious, and to try to recycle more. That is key for us, for the whole society. I think we need to try to depend on us rather than depend on different countries, for example.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to be shipping. If you imagine your problem with that one shirt, we've all got the problems. We're all changing sizes, you know. So we're all going to have that problem. I used to have a cupboard full of shirts where I said, "Oh, one day I'm going to lose weight and get back into that shirt," you know, because we all went through COVID, we all put on weight, etc.
Exactly.
So everyone had that shirt that they can't wear no more, or is too big, etc. So if everyone was to put all those together, I'm sure there could be a solution. And I know there's many solutions around the world that could probably deal with that problem. But it's not just that problem, is it? It's trainers, you know?
Yeah. It's everything.
Everything's the word is consumable.
Yes.
Because I'll just buy another pair. You know?
Exactly.
It's easy to go and buy another pair.
Exactly.
Because you know,
Exactly.
oh, I've had 12 months use out of that. That's enough. So I can put that in the bin, or I can hand it down to someone. But we don't. In fact, I was with a company today, and in that unit, they had a company that recycled trainers significantly. They was recycling trainers. So I think once we said just now, there is a problem. There's many problems, but there are people focusing on these problems, and sustainability is coming more and more to the front of all of this.
That's correct.
How we would deal with the shirts we don't want, but more importantly, the batteries that we don't want. There may not be a full solution today, but there will be, you know, eventually. Because I met a company during lockdown, and they were buying. So companies have got batteries in their vehicles, fleet vehicles. They come to an end. They were taking all these batteries to America. They was basically slicing the top of the van off, so it just left what they called a skateboard, and they was recycling and putting vintage cars on it.
Yeah.
Where people wanted, you know, they love their vintage car, and they're going to electrify the vintage car. That's a long way off, but what a great idea.
Exactly. Beautiful ideas.
Yeah. To be able to do that. It's amazing.
I think obviously they are, when they are time of need, there are beautiful ideas, beautiful companies around the UK, as I mentioned earlier on, fantastic research done in the UK with fantastic societies. Just to name a few, so for example, Institute of Physics, Royal Society of Chemistry, Institute of Material, Minerals and Mine, they are working along with a lot of universities around the UK, beautiful companies coming up, starting up companies, and this is something fantastic to see that.
Yeah.
To see that, because we are moving into the right direction, and I think it just will take some time.
Yeah.
But obviously we need to be more conscious day by day, and that is my point. Just to give you an example, and this is quite a beautiful example. So if you, in terms of the batteries, so one of the things I found out is, as I said, I like looking at the batteries and going to check batteries, and I got a voltmeter at home and looking at the voltage, etc. And one of the things is quite interesting is, just for example, you have a remote control, and in the remote control, you might have 2 or 3 batteries together.
Yep.
Sometimes the remote control doesn't work, and then you say, okay, I need to change the batteries. And there are 3 batteries in the remote control. So usually all of us will take the 3 batteries, put them in the bin, and use another 3 batteries. However, this is a big however, yes? It might be that only 1 battery out of the 3 is not working properly.
Yeah.
So what we have done is created more waste that we shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is.
So what you should be doing is checking the voltage on all of them. Yeah,
exactly. So my point is that there are small things that we can do daily to reduce.
I'm going to tell you a funny story. I've never got enough batteries to replace all three anyway, so I end up rotating.
That's correct.
The batteries to. Well, the first thing I do is I take the battery out and I warm it up and put it back again and hope it works.
Exactly.
Then I go, I must have a battery somewhere, and I find a battery either from something else, and I replace one and see if that works.
Correct.
So
that's correct.
Obviously, I'm not doing a proper volt test.
That's correct, but that's
because I've got an engineer mind.
Exactly, and this is what my point is. Just to give you an example, I got 2 children, 4 and 7. As you mentioned earlier on, many of the toys, they use batteries. But some batteries, for example, for a toy, they require a certain voltage. But some batteries, for example, let's say an alarm clock, a radio, they require less voltage.
Yeah.
So, for example, my children toys, when the batteries they don't work anymore, I put them in my radio.
Good idea.
My electronic radio, and it still works. Why? Because different devices at home, they use less energy.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying about the recycling. So there is a small ways of trying to reduce that amount of waste.
Yeah.
The most important thing, the amount of where those materials are coming from, metals. And one of the things is by reducing or by doing these small things, we will reduce the waste enormously.
How do we get that story out? Because that's a really good point, isn't it? Is recycling, doing your own recycling.
Yes. I think the most important thing is to be conscious about that. So as I mentioned, there are beautiful alternatives. There are beautiful companies and colleagues working on schools, teaching that way to our society, and I think that is the most important thing. For example, I'm here at Robert Gordon University. I'm involved in different outreach activities. Tech Fest, the festival for children in different schools, and every time we have the opportunity to speak to them and to tell them what they might do with batteries or different things. And I think that is key for try to reduce that into a society. Because as I mentioned, if we just, let's say, in the UK, for example, we have 70 million inhabitants. If all of us, we use 2 batteries, A4, AA, whatever type of batteries, and we recycle them, it will be 140 million. So it's a lot of waste.
Yeah.
Only by 2 per house, yes?
My colleague, Jeremy Carter, he's a great believer in the multiplier. So you have a problem, then you start to multiply that out. That problem just accelerates, doesn't it?
That's correct, yes.
So that problem could be saved, you know?
That's correct. Or for example, let's say there are beautiful initiatives now. Like, for example, now there are companies where they refurbish a computer or a mobile phone. Yeah. This is a beautiful initiative because a computer that what you need to think is we need to, for me, one of the things why I recycle things and I'm into sustainable is because I have a lot of respect for those who invented or developed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a computer, the person who developed or invented the computer or a battery, it's a lot of work to create something. So you have to put it in the bin so quickly. For me, it just made me sad.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I like recycle things.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier about, we're out there finding the problems, discussing the problems, and you're behind us correcting the problems, creating, and sometimes you're creating the problems regarding new designs and that side of it. And it's, the problems going this way, then back and forth. One of the biggest, and this is why we got together, and that's our magic word of collaboration.
That's correct.
Us as energy experts need to be speaking to the academics. And I hope you don't mind me using that. You're the academics. You're in there really at the design, the research and development side, where we're out there application side. So we're doing, there's only one way we can improve the R&D, and that's and it's only one way we can improve the application, is it's bringing the two together and addressing the issues together. Not we're not going to say it's his fault and you're not going to say it's their fault. We've got to break all the barriers down, which I don't believe there are barriers, but we've got to just remove all the barriers and work together to address the future, basically, of technologies.
This is a beautiful point, Paul, and this is very important. I always say that, for me, I put this example. Every human being working in academia or in industry or in any area, it's like a beautiful island in the Pacific.
Yeah.
And it's important to connect all of them together.
Yeah.
To have a beautiful sea. Yes. So collaborations are key with different colleagues and different mindset. For instance, sometimes you are thinking about the problem too much. You talk to someone, you see the problem from a different angle. Science is changing all the time. Just to give you an example, what we thought it was the real truth 100 years ago, things are changing.
Yeah.
What we think is the real truth today, it will be changing in 100 years.
Yeah.
That's how science evolves. So it's good to have different colleagues that they bring different aspects, and it just fantastic. Sometimes, for example, the most basic questions are the most difficult ones. Yes.
Yeah.
So someone said to me, "Okay, Carlos, why the battery has that particular design and no doubts design?" You think to yourself, this is a very good question, actually.
Yeah.
I understand the chemistry behind it, I understand what it is, I understand different aspects, but the fundamental question is why? And the more you ask yourself why, the deeper you go into. And the deeper you go into, the more difficult it is.
Yeah.
And this is the beauty. This is how we solve different problems.
Because you then say, you ask the why,
Yeah.
you get an answer, but then you say, but why is it that answer? And you keep asking the whys, don't you? Why? Until you get to the end of the road regarding.
Exactly. And you get to an end that you say, actually, now I don't understand. Yes. And this is when you need someone to help you, to collaborate, to say something. Yes. As I mentioned, science is a beautiful subject, an area, and energy in particular, for example. But the deeper, how we change things, how we combine things. To give you an example, I sit in on different committees on energy, and we have colleagues on different areas of energy. So, for example, a colleague on solar or green hydrogen or nuclear.
Right.
And everyone try to defend what I call their own aura. Yes?
Yeah. Their land as such.
Exactly. But sometimes it's not about defending. It's about collaborating.
Yeah.
Have you thought about perhaps nuclear and solar together? Have you thought about what the process with green hydrogen and batteries together? So that sort of aspects, it brings a strength on a science.
Yeah. I'm ex-nuclear power, and I remember we used to have rooms and rooms full of batteries, and those rooms were used if we had a power failure
That's correct.
in the place. We just reverted back to battery for a small period of time while I was waiting to get all the rest of it. I've got a question for you. It always bothers me, really. We know how good the battery is. Obviously, there's cost at the moment. But why has there been such a gap between the battery's involvement with buildings, for instance? Because we know the battery and the, excuse my puns again, the power of the battery technology. But there's been a big gap, isn't there, regarding the implementation of that? Why have we got that where we do see it occasionally in buildings, as I just said, for UPS, etc. But why have we not seen it earlier? Because we've done the BMS, we've done solar, but it's been a long period before solar started to since the battery has started to become nearer and nearer the norm.
I think obviously a huge part of it was the big development or the invention, let's say, of the lithium-ion batteries. I think that changed the whole concept of the battery. I think the battery has been there, but the more we advance with materials, and that's why I mentioned earlier on different colleagues working on beautiful materials with more energetic, more holding capacity, etc. The batteries will become more and more powerful. And this is something that slowly things are moving into a fantastic direction with different batteries, with different metals nowadays. You have lithium, with sodium, or potassium, or calcium, etc. So this is something that more and more they will be used. But as I said earlier on, there is no simple equation to solve everything. And that's why I mentioned earlier on about different energies. I think one of the, and this is the way I look at things, we need to have more cohesive colleagues working together in different areas, because nuclear is a beautiful energy, or hydrogen, or solar, or batteries, but they need to be cohesive with something else to become a superpower energy. And that is something that we need to, I think this is something that we need to perhaps work and improve. I have seen already different colleagues and different companies working on trying to implement different energies together, and I think this is the way forward.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Carlos, it's come to that time of the interview. I can't believe it's gone so quick. Actually, I keep looking at my clock, think it's spinning. Because it's such an interesting subject, I'm really engrossed in it. But it's come to that time where I put you on a spot and I just asked you this one question. Is there anything you can give back? So there's thousands of people going to listen to this, energy experts around the world. Is there anything that you can give to them today to help them probably start the stepping stones of collaboration? I don't know. What is there anything you can give back to them today?
Yes, I think that one of the most important thing is to for energy expert or any expert who is interested in energy, is to try to think outside always the box. We always say the box, but it's very important to see things in a different angle.
Take a step back.
Exactly. As sometimes a person that doesn't know the subject very well, when someone doesn't know the subject very well, that person will be able to ask you some very interesting questions. And this is the question that we need to try to understand. Also, another point that you made is the collaborations. I think collaborations are key. between industry, between colleagues in academia, and nurture more collaborations. I think that is fantastic. Having more podcasts like today, talking with, sharing with different ideas. I think this is key to move science forward.
You would have never put you and I in a room together. But we reached out to each other, didn't we? We started talking. You see what I was talking about. And I've learned so much already myself. It's funny. People ask about my podcast. 170 episodes I've done of this podcast. And I've learned so much because of collaboration. I know people all over the world where I've learned from. And I'd like to think that these just some of this information that we're feeding back, so people might know, oh, now I know I've got a route back into these problems that we have. We're going to take this one step further, Carlos. I'm going to invite you to our group and network. And now I think that'll be valuable because you'll be able to collaborate with experts who are there, and they'll be able to collaborate with you to say, I had a guy ask me today, where's the best, how do I size batteries, Well, I could have directed him straight to yourself. You could have probably helped him with that,
Exactly, yes. This is obviously, Paul, it's a real pleasure to be invited to your podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I enjoy talking about energy. I could talk for hours. And I think the most important thing, as I mentioned, is we're working towards the net zero. All of us, we're putting our small stone into the beautiful paves and the beautiful road.
And what really inspired me the most was when we was talking the last time and you said, I take my children out the weekend and I make them pick up batteries and then we take them home and take them apart to see how they're made. How amazing is that?
I think, as I said, for me, something so beautiful to be thrown in the street.
Yeah.
Something that someone thought
they didn't think,
so long.
They didn't think
to put it into that.
Yeah.
To have a steel, to put the battery together, to put the cables, to put everything together, to think so. And all of a sudden to see them throwing in the street or somewhere on the park or whatever, for me, it makes me sad. It's like when I see a TV abandoned there, something that so beautiful, so powerful. You have so many connector devices, metals, a lot of thoughts, a lot of work. And all of a sudden, I found it sad. So that's why I take my children today to collect things.
That's a lovely story. It's funny, I read a story only yesterday about this guy. For many years, he was collecting circuit boards and separating all the precious metals. He is a multi-millionaire now because he's collected all these metals and divided them all up into different mountains as such now. And he's made his money by selling. It's there's gold, there's silver, all in these.
All the conductors, semiconductors that they used in all the devices, cables, throwing. I mean, it just is sad. It's sad. Yeah. I do understand why people throw them.
I think the word is criminal that we throw these things away.
Yes.
We don't think about it. We need to start thinking about it, don't we?
Yes, but in a way, I understand also. I do like putting myself on different shoes because obviously
you put them in the shoe, not on the shoe.
Well, in the shoe, sorry.
You like to tread on people's feet, yeah?
So in the shoes of different people, and one of the things obviously is like the TV, for example. If you take it to a place to repair the TV, it will cost you
the shirt story again, yeah.
That's correct. More than the value of the TV. And this is something that it is sad. But I do understand why people do that.
Yeah. I had a TV. Sorry, I'm extending this podcast. I had a TV. I paid £1,000 for it. We had it for 5, 6 years. And one day it stopped working. Okay. It just turned off. It was one of these big wide screens. It was a heavy one. And I went out and brought another TV. So I was stuck with the big TV. So I said to my son, come on, let's take it downstairs. So my house was, I had an upside down house. So we took it downstairs, put it into his room. I went upstairs, set my other TV up. He come running up and said, the TV's working again.
So you see,
we got
small
more life
connector.
out.
Yes.
It must have been because we moved it.
Yes.
So there wasn't probably nothing wrong with
Nothing
it.
wrong.
But
A small connector
cost me
doesn't connect
probably
very well.
thousands of pounds to get
Yes.
someone to look at it with all the instrumentation.
That's correct.
Where we just moved it and it just moved something.
That's correct.
We got another few years out of it, which is great. My son's used it for gaming in the end, which is
well done.
It was really good. I was really pleased about that. So, Carlos, I would like to say thank you very much for joining us. I'm very excited about you coming into the network and collaborating and working with our teams. It's very exciting. And, thank you for taking this time today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
All the best.
And
Thank
please,
you,
Carlos, you and your family stay safe in these times.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you to my guest for joining me today on Energy Speaks Back. I'm very proud and humbled to have the opportunity to interview energy experts from around the world, and I hope you found today's episode of value. Don't forget to listen to the previous episodes because they are full of insights to help you make a real impact on energy efficiency. And remember, tiny changes that we make today can bring us profound savings in the future. Together, we can drive change and make a difference. That leaves me with one more thing to say. Please, you and your family, be safe in these times.